Terrarian in the Dungeon, Chapter 56, Fan Fiction, by Azazyel. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel for listening and patreon.com/Azazyel to read all of his stories. Do you mind turning around at least, Jake? Filvis Challia said with an atomic blush which even with her circumstances. I understood why she was asking, as elves were typically very aloof and distant to people of other races that hadn't broken their barriers. Though elves were without a doubt the lewdest race of them all, even surpassing the baby-crazy Amazons. Look at Ryu, she fights for her life in bloomers of all things, to say nothing of Riveria, the future queen of elves, and her fetish for adopting and practically mothering everyone in her familia. Alright. I will just be outside so you can have some privacy. I said, frowning for a moment before I shrugged. If Seshet wanted to pick up a possible time bomb despite me not looking happy, she can deal with the fallout. I can just teleport away when she inevitably explodes anyway. I then went outside for a minute as I leaned against the door just watching the adventures of Ororio picking up their gods from the Donatus, and I realized that Seshet never even fucking told me the date or even what kind of wargame I will be facing. Cat goddesses are the worst. They have the same care and respect for their caretakers that normal cats do. I cursed quietly as my eye twitched while I saw Tioni and Tiona escorting Loki out of the building, with Tiona waving to me as they left. With Seshet making indistinct noises within the room, I couldn't really tell if she was either happy or just going over details of Filvis's fauna, but after 5 or so minutes, the door was thrown open with Filvis hurriedly fixing her dress as Seshet strode out of the room with a glow about her. "Oh, Jake. You bring me the best surprises," Seshet said, hugging me tightly, making me flinch as I had no fucking clue what she meant. And seeing my completely confused expression, Seshet grinned with a bit of teeth showing as she patted my back and took my arm. "Oh, don't worry, Jake. Just some delightful future entertainment is on the way." "Oh, don't worry, you little broken doll, I won't do or even say anything. Whatever happens will only bring me entertainment either way," Seshet said, waving at Filvis, who just seemed to recall that engraving a fauna onto someone's soul revealed all that they were. Memories, hopes, dreams. All that made a person who they were, born in the creation and updating of a fauna, as it was called, the steps of divinity, for a good reason. Did I accidentally join an evil goddess familia, or is she just a sociopath like all cats are? I thought, almost crying at the stress Seshet was bringing me. Jake is still the captain, though, Missy. Just because you are level 4 doesn't mean you get to be the captain. Jake already broke that ace girl's record into pieces, so don't think your higher level will remain for long, Seshet told Filvi, who demurely nodded. I understand. Joining a familia only to be immediately made its captain would bring friction within the familia, and especially with the wargame in the future, people would assume that I was only a temporary member to sway the coming battle. Filvis spoke out, but Seshet shrugged. If you want to look at it that way, sure. It's actually more along the lines of Jake is stronger than his level would suggest, Seshet remarked as she nudged me with a prideful smile. Anyway, Seshet, when is the wargame and what is the format of the game? I asked. Seshet chuckled with her arm linked, and my mind tightened with her laughter. Yeah, about that. The wargame is technically tomorrow evening, but you will need to be up bright and early as you are allowed 6 hours to fortify the objective of the game. Yes, Jake, you alone will have to hold and protect the flag from being captured by the Apollo Familia for the next 3 days. Or until they surrender, Seshet said flippantly, making my eyes twitch. What are the rules? I asked tiredly as Filvis followed us from behind, silently taking in the information about the up-and-coming wargame. Well, for one, little Filvis won't be taking part. Admittedly, as funny as it would be to see Apollo cry like a bitch, but the complaints about cheating aren't worth it. And literally, the only 2 rules for the game are that the flag needs to be placed in an open area for people to see it, and you specifically got a new rule added, Seshet explained pointedly, and from her smile, I could tell what it was. Let me guess, no uncontrollable monster Rexes, right? I asked dryly and clapped her hands sarcastically. Ding ding ding, Jake. You got it in one, Seshet responded sarcastically before she wore a more serious face. No, but seriously, Jake. If you summon one, you automatically lose the wargame, so don't use your summons at all so people don't go asking why you can control those and not the monster Rex monsters during the wargame, Seshet ordered me, and I understood where she was coming from. Alright, fair enough, I responded, patting her on her head between her ears and making her grin. What should be my responsibilities? Filvis quietly asked, interjecting between our conversation. Seshet just blinked before throwing an almost sadistic smile to the girl that made shivers go down my spine. You already know what you have to do, Filvis, don't be coy. Anyway, just help train Jake in actual melee combat as he is complete garbage at it. He literally hasn't had a teacher besides beating other kids with sticks when he was a kid. Seshet spoke, making Filvis bite her bottom lip before she silently nodded and looked down at the ground. And Filvis didn't say a single word for the rest of the trip home. Once we got home and explained to Hestia and Belle about the coming wargame, while Beatrice got started on dinner, Belle hummed in thought. How open does the flag need to be? Like, could Jake just tie it to his back and build a thin massive tower for him to sit on in the sky that people cannot mess with? Belle asked cunningly, and I couldn't help but chuckle at the thought, making a nerd pole all the way up to the clouds to fuck with the Apollo Familia. Seshet blinked as the thought never seemed to cross her mind before she shrugged. Actually, I was hoping Jake would just make a small platform and surround it in a pit of lava and just tell the Apollo Familia to fetch. But your idea has some value, as Jake can just mock them upon the tower and throw rocks or bags filled with hot tar-covered feathers upon them if they try to climb up. Seshet spoke as she laid out the sadistic vision of what I could do. Wouldn't just a small wooden house holding the flag with plenty of windows be better? I don't see the value in slaughtering Apollo's adventurers, and I don't want to spend like 3 days just sitting in some stupid tower throwing rocks at people, so why don't I make a whole house with a forge and stuff so I can spend the time making new weapons and stuff? Would probably piss off the forging and craftsman familias seeing me just work making stuff they cannot during the whole wargame. I offered to the assembled family of ours, with Filvis kind of sitting off in the corner as we hadn't made her a seat yet. The thought of me just living a normal day's life while Apollo's mages and adventurers tried to break into the house made Hestia burst out into laughter. She gave me a thumbs up in support, as she obviously didn't want to see me tear apart people with either blade or spellwork.